Alrighty, Steelers Nation, welcome back to Steelers Nation Australia. This is an ongoing series where I choose a certain part of the depth chart and try and predict who's going to make the team. Now, I could be completely wrong, 110% completely wrong. But at the same time, the way I'm doing it is I'm trying to predict the almost certain players who are going to make the team. Like with my prediction with the quarterback depth chart being Kenny Pickett number one, Trubisky, and Rudolph. I think those three will make it. Another video I did too where I spelt Pat Frymuth wrong. I have Muth, Gentry, Washington, and Hayward. I believe the Steelers are going to do 4 tight ends, and like Connor Hayward plays a fullback role, halfback role too. However, in today's episode, I was thinking, okay, I want to get something out there because we have about I think 90 days away from week one or something like that, 2 or 3 months. It is the off season. I talked about it yesterday that I'm kind of like, it's the downtime of Steelers content right now or Steelers talk. At the same time, though, I want to get these videos out there and follow a logical procedure because to me, you've got to try and choose players that will be definitely making the team at this time. And for me, the players who are making the team are these 3 guys. Unless Mason Rudolph gets, jumped out and gets taken over by another third quarterback. And I think it's going to be 4 tight ends. But in today's episode, I want to look at the middle linebacker position. And I believe that these 4 players will make the team in 2023, the 53-man roster. Now, currently on the roster, we have those 4 players, I think, plus at middle linebacker, a bloke called Chappelle Russell. Now, I'll tell you this. I have no idea who Chappelle Russell is. No idea who that bloke is in my life. So I've gone with these 4, and I'll give some reasons why in just a moment. But on the roster, you have a middle linebacker position. You have Cole, Elandon, Robinson, Tanner, and Chappelle Russell. So there's 5 middle linebackers on the 90-man roster so far. Now, that's not to say that the Steelers can't add a player, cut players. The roster right now might change, or it probably will change actually before the start of the season. But this is my projection for 2023. Now, let's start with Cole Holcomb. He's the guy that came over from, I think it was the Washington Commanders. He was drafted in 2019 in the 5th round. And what is he? 6'1". He's a young fella, 26-year-old. And you go to his stats, he's played with Washington all his life, war number 55, has the same number. That's kind of cool. He started over 48 games, 3 interceptions, 5 forced fumbles. There you go. And 1 fumble recovery, 4 sacks, and in total, 388 tackles. And in 1 year in 2021, he had 142 tackles. So that shows me that this bloke likes to hit. And I get that feeling too. And I also will, in this episode too, guys, I will link an article from Shannon White from BTSC. It's a really good read. I'm going to show you two slides from the article. We're going to talk about it. But it's a really good read talking about the new middle linebackers coming in and the old linebackers like Bush, Spillane, even though I like Spillane, Miles Jack heading out the door. The middle linebacker room pretty much changed everything besides Mark Robinson, who's still on the team. Right, he's still there. So, everything's changed at that position, and they've gotten more physical. They have players who want to tackle, who want to hit. With Devin Bush last year, it turned out to be a failure. It just didn't work. It didn't work. Didn't go our way. Didn't go his way either. So hopefully he gets a fresh start. I do wish him luck. Look, when we verse the Seahawks, I hope we beat them. But I wish him luck. Hope he can turn his career around and do good things over there in Seattle. But for us, it was a good parting on the way, saying, see you later, mate, catch you, goodbye. It's time to move on. Now, another player we had there, so Cole Holcomb, I think, is going to start. He'll be starting there in the middle linebacker room. We have Landon Roberts. Now, if you do a bit of research on this bloke too, and I got some help from behind this little curtain in Shannon White, he says here, right, that Roberts is another former team captain. So Holcomb's a captain, of course, or was a captain with the Commanders, and Roberts is another former team captain. With excellent leadership skills, he brings something more to the equation at 29 years of age. So you have one bloke who's 25 and the other bloke who's 29, which is fantastic. Says he brings plenty of experience at the inside linebacker meeting room. Roberts is a 2-time Super Bowl champion with the New England Patriots, so he can speak from experience what it takes to reach the pinnacle of the sport. And I think that's something we're not looking into as well. Like some people players say, oh, he's slow, he can't do these, he can't cover. But he's been to the Super Bowl twice. Twice. And sometimes I think we forget about these players that they're just football players. Some might say, oh, he's got a bad step, he can't cover this guy, he can't do this, can't do that. But at the end of the day, if a player like Roberts is going to the Super Bowl twice and winning, that means something. That means something to me. All right, that really does. So I have him here on the list being Cole Holcomb, Leonard Roberts, and then we move into Mark Robinson and Tanner Muse. And here's the interesting part. When you move into Mark Robinson and Tanner Muse, I think is going to be the guy I like on teams. I don't know if he's going to play middle linebacker in this defense because they do like a lot of three safety sets. You see other blokes in like Herbig or even TJ Watt sometimes stands around the middle. I think it's going to be the three men there. Holcomb, Roberts, and Robinson are going to play some good snaps at middle linebacker, and then Tanner Muse will be that specialty guy, that's guy on teams who runs down the field and makes the tackles. Because I think with the Seattle Seahawks, he had over 75% snaps were on teams. He was one of the highest ones. Now, going back to the article from Shannon from BTSC, he says this, and I completely agree with this. He says, I believe the trio possesses the necessary intelligence, intensity, and natural football instincts needed to improve a respectable level in pass coverage. Says here, but the coaching staff will have their hands full during training camp, which I agree with. Khan may decide to bring in an affordable coverage linebacker with experience. And that too, I could be completely wrong. These four men right here that in my opinion, are going to make the team, they might sign someone tomorrow being a coverage specialist in the linebacker position, and they might cut out, I don't know, they might cut someone or maybe add someone to the roster. So what Shannon is saying here is Khan may decide to bring in an affordable coverage linebacker with experience if the opportunity presents itself. Now, defensive coordinator Terrell Austin may decide to run more three safety sets depending on weekly matchups. Keanu Neal is already a box safety who plays like an off-ball linebacker. And that's right. So we already have in that set, you have the middle linebacker room with Cole Holcomb, Atlanta Roberts, Mark Robinson in training to be that middle linebacker. Then in the other sets where you have Minka staying back, or Minka roaming, doing what Minka does, Kazi staying back, and you have the other bloke, Keanu Neal, who can play down to the box. This to me is a really good middle linebacker room. Not great, not fantastic, not crazy. There's nothing like Shazier. I wish Shazier was still had a chance to play. Things happened, and he's doing podcasts now, and that's the way it was. But this team could have been fantastic with a guy like Shazier. So we have to wait and see what happens with Cole Holcomb and Elandon Roberts. Anyways, guys, I think that's my depth for these four players going into the season. So in summary, we have so far three players being Kenny Pickett, Trubisky, Rudolph. That's three. Then we have tight ends, Freiermuth, Gentry, Washington, Haywood. That's 7. And Holcomb, Roberts, Robinson, and Tanner Muse being 4. That's 11. So that's 11 players out of the 53 that I think are going to make the team. I think like I might get maybe one wrong or things might change here and there, but I feel like those 11 so far are going to make the team, or they should make the team. Anyways, let me know in the comments below what you think about that. I think I'm pretty on point, but it's so early in the season. I'm going to try and do this maybe once a week or once every few weeks or whenever I feel like thinking, okay, who's going to make the team? Because I'll tell you what, offensive line's going to be hard. Defensive line, to find out who's going to be there too. I think even like cornerbacks, will Pierre make it? Will Trey Norwood make it? Will Kendrick Green make it? Stuff like that. It's going to be very hard. Anyways, that's the end of the show. And I thank you guys for checking out Steeler Nation Australia. We have Holcomb, Roberts, Robinson, and Tanner Muse making the team.